Hello there, it's Amanda Creative Gardener. It's early in the morning and we are going on a garden tour, and I thought I'd start from a different part of the garden and take you around. It'll probably be slightly a little bit longer. I might try, if it's too long, I'll cut it up into two parts. But let's get going, okay? And I'm just going to turn the camera around so that you can see. So this is a long-awaited garden tour. It looks like it might rain, so I'm gonna have to kind of get on with it. But this is the front of the garden, and it really is coming up. If you look back at some of the images, this was nothing but gravel, and initially the grass grew, and I've been busy planting. So I've now got my Mexican sunflower hedge, and it grows taller over in that part of the garden. So I was going through some of I was listing the variety of plants that I have in the garden, and I've made it to 65. I think there's more because I haven't counted some of the what some people may consider weeds, but they have a medicinal benefit as well. And if you look, this is Frangipani. This particular one, I can't remember the name, but I'll remember it. Grows normally by the sea. I've got 4 of those. So when I was making the list, I've literally just counted 1, but there are some plants that I have where there's like 4 or 5 or 10, like the Scarvola. I've also got them down here forming a hedge, and I've also got them further back. So we'll just really kind of go around and take a look. So one of my main aims in the garden is to create a food forest and also have plants that are medicinal. So most plants have some sort of medicinal property, and but also to have plants that you could potentially do something. I'm walking towards this Pomegranate tree. I'm not sure how happy it is here. It's growing very slowly in this particular position, but I just have to keep an eye on it. But yeah, to either be a food, to either have a medicinal property, or to be able to use it as in dyeing fabric, or use the fibers from the plant. So those are the main areas that I look for when I'm putting things in my garden. So this is my big Frangipani tree, but at the moment it has guests, and it's the Frangipani Hornworm here munching away at the leaves. What I plan to do with this is to cut it back and plant some of the put some plants, Frangipani trees, in other parts of the garden. So hello, Cole. So we've got an east-westerly breeze, so I'm going to put some at the front here. I've got one there already, so that when they're in flower and the breeze blows, you'll get the scent. So this is my cotton plant, which is really overgrown, and I've cut it back. And what I'm going to be doing with the leaves, the branches, is use them as in creating kind of, is it a wooden arbor, or use the wood. So that's the other thing that I would do with the materials from the plant. Look at my broadleaf thyme. Here I made a broadleaf thyme hedge, so I literally just dumped a load of broadleaf thyme. Again, it's growing really well in this particular part of the garden, and the hedge is kind of slowly growing. What I probably need to do is cut back and just layer the rest on there, and they just grow. There's hardly any soil. It's more kind of like gravel and rock. So because I've layered it, it's died down and provided nutrients for the rest of the plant. Yeah, it's really good. anyway, so this is another part of the garden. This bit is, I'll say under construction, but what grows here is the dandelions, and you can see them coming up. We had the grass cut about a week ago, but we've had lots of rain, lots of sun, so it's due for another cut. I would have cut it again this weekend, but the guy's probably busy. So we come round here again. If you look at the hedge, it's going round. On the other side of the hedge, there's a guy that does organic farming. So I wanted to separate us, and not every time he comes, so I don't have to see him. Well, not but that you got privacy really, and you're not overlooked. I've got the neighbours on the other side, on this side, so you don't want to really be overlooked. If you want to come out and just chill or hang out, chill. Look at my tamarind tree. It's growing really well. I'm not sure when the tamarind trees fruit, how big this needs to get before it fruits, and it's got a guest on there. Can you see it? But I like tamarind. Growing all the things I like that you can eat, that has medicinal property, that has fibres that I can use. And we're heading towards my Mexican sunflower red. So I got these beauties recently, and I'm not deadheading them because I want them to go to seed, because I want to collect the seeds and then plant some even more. They're slightly different in the way that they look to the yellow Mexican sunflower. The leaves are very different, as you can see. That's the leaves for the yellow Mexican sunflower. And the flowers itself, the red ones are more kind of round on the petals, and the yellow ones are more pointy. Again, properties, I'm not 100% sure of all the properties, but I know that visually this particular plant grows really fast. So again, look, I've managed to create another part of the garden where I can separate, and I'm going to take plants all the way around this edge and round there to meet the scarvola. So we're going to have like a curved thing going on here. I'm not sure what I'm doing with that bit. It wouldn't be nice to be tiled in some way, the outdoor tiles, be thick, heavy, so that you can have like a, sitting area that doesn't get wet. So I'm creating like secret garden type experience, and I've shown you some of the paths, but I want kind of areas that go round and that are not. If I wanted to sit here, we've got to power wash this, but if I wanted to sit here, or if I wanted to put plants that are more delicate, that you just want to be able to escape in different parts of the garden. So making areas where and I'm on a budget, so you know what I mean. And one of the other things I want to do is kind of just make an arch here. So I mean, not necessarily do that with the Mexican sunflower, but maybe use some of the wood and create an arch, and have maybe a vine growing up it. But yeah, just being able to use what we have to hand. And this area gets quite muddy where coal runs through and nothing really grows, because he uses this as a run through and runs up here. So I just put down the grass, and that's kind of helped. So looking over there, you can see some more kind of cascading. Can you? I need to fix the rocks. What I did recently to the path is put down the grass. So when the grass was cut, I let it die out a bit, and then I put it on the path, and it kind of helps to define the path. As I say, the grass needs cutting again, so I can get some more grass. because I want it to go along here and meet the path up there. I've got my wheelbarrow up there, and then I want the path to go round. Well, the path does go round, but it just needs to be cleared. So this bit is kind of semi working out to how I want. I've moved the rocks around here, and this just needs to be weeded, and again the grass cut, but I've got the trees kind of hanging over, and I'm allowing that one to grow over, so you get the feel of an archway. And then this just goes around here and round, and again once it's cut it looks really nice. And we've got the scarvola just growing along here, and just a rocky area, because this is where when the water when it rains, all of this is like a little channel, fills up with water, because we're on a slope and we slope down that way. So when it rains at the neighbours, the water just gushes this way, and then it slopes down this way. So all the water collects in this area here and goes down to here and into the well. So this is our well, but I'd kind of covered it, you know, put plants around it so that there's an opening. So just didn't want, you know, my grandson or any child kind of exploring and thinking, or even Cole, because Cole chases mongooses or mice sometimes we have along here, so we didn't want that to happen. Anyway, so quickly moving on, let's go up here. So I really like this feel, you know, like going around the garden. At some point I'm gonna make some stepping stones, so that would be great. But the grass clippings keeps down the grass. What I should have done was, as soon as it was cut, put it down, because some of it has grown since, but that doesn't matter anyway. So we come to this part, and my bananas are growing again, and I'll probably do a different video on the bananas, but I need to move some of them. There's so many little pups growing, so I need to kind of move this area out, move some of them out. And my Moringa Patch here is growing really well, and it does get this shack tree I've allowed to grow tall to give some sort, like, you know, another canopy. But what happens is I have to make sure I collect the seeds, the seed pods. And over here is going to be my pomegranate patch. So I've got pomegranates growing there. I've got some papayas growing here. They're very young, and I'm going to have to separate them out. But I had so many seeds. I hate throwing seeds away, and they all end up in the garden. So hence the 66 different varieties of plants. It's going to be more because I haven't included even things like this, which is I don't know why the common daisy came up, but it's a daisy. I guess it's in the daisy family, and I didn't count every single tree that I have. So again, the paths going round, we'll go around this way. Little path here. It's very hilly here. Hilly. Let's pick this up because the seeds will come out. So I'm just been putting them here along here. I don't mind the shack tree growing along here as a border. But again, as you can see, the gradient. So this comes around here, and then it was going to go past the noni tree, but the noni tree is not growing as straight as I thought. Morning! The noni tree is not growing as fast as I had wanted it to, so it's growing as straight as I wanted it to. It's kind of bent. You can see it's bent there, So I'm debating whether to have, so just to stop here maybe, and then you go round. I mean, it's only me. It's just like, not as if it's used by other people. And you come here. So this was a metal pole that I had laid there and kind of just got embedded. So I was using it to kind of block off this area, because this was going to be my composting area. And I've started, so I've got compost here that needs to be now moved. And yeah, thinking about what I want to have planted in this area. You see that little hole there? That's Cole. That's where Cole has, he goes through there and goes to see the neighbour's dog. But once I've fixed up at the front to kind of be more kind of enclosed, I'm going to have to shut that off so he just stays within the garden. Okay, so let us go this way. These are really grown really well, but the thing I've noticed on them is stink bugs. There's one. I wonder if you can. There's two different varieties there. Just have to come round and spray it with my neem oil, and but they seem to love this plant, and this plant is just grown really big. I don't really like it as big like this. And what I'd actually put them here, because I've got a cutting. I've been given there was a plant at the front, and I thought, let me just put it here because I don't know whether it's going to grow. And it's just kind of grown, and what I need to do is I'm going to be cutting it down so it's half the size, and then what I want to do is move it in other places. So let's go up this one here. So we've got lots going on, lots of aloes growing, we've got cassava growing, the Mexican sunflower, and then the path goes this way. There's lots of butterflies, and they've been laying their eggs over everything. I'm not sure whether because we've had such a drought and suddenly there's all this rain that they've been overproducing, but there are these caterpillars, and I've found some on the underside of the Mexican sunflower just kind of hanging out. So here's another little path that goes to the back here. Not sure whether you can see any, but the Mexican sunflower is growing tall. What I normally try and do is cut it so that I cut it about here, and it's bushed out, which is really great, but again it still needs to be maintained. And that's the neighbour's forest. This is elephant grass. They're going to be in the process of cutting it all back. You see how the Mexican sunflower spreads? The seeds just kind of stink bugs on my mango. Okay, so I definitely need to come out and spray my neem oil and get rid of them. But when he cuts back, there must be mice living in here. Obviously this is the perfect environment, it's undisturbed and they can just eat and whatever, reproduce, but they all come over to our way. So in the house you get like these little mice coming through, and it really is annoying. But again, a lot of little paths here that you would have seen in other videos, and the way that the slope is, as I said, it slopes down, so everything is going in that direction. So I've tried to build up the sides of each of the beds and lay down the sticks so that I can stop the soil from eroding. And it's kind of done a good job, and I just have to keep on it. So, you know, every now and again you get an area where it becomes exposed. So now I've got to go, you know, do some chop and drop and just lay down some stuff. And here's my other little path. So the other thing I've laid down is cardboard, and that again helps keep the grass down. And then I've laid, as you can see, the grass clippings and along here. So this is my really shady area, and I want to open it up a bit. I've got I had planted a what's this called, cherry tree. I didn't plant this tree, but I planted a piece here, and it's actually grown into a thick, look at the size of its branch there. And what it's done is it's sent out a branch all the way over, and it's creating another little canopy, which I'm not minding actually, because I like this kind of effect. I'm going to have to cut the other side of that particular cherry tree, because I use the wood, and the branches, as you can see, look how thick they are. So this particular branch starts off as, you know, one of these smaller ones, and if you let it just gets thicker and thicker. So I want to use the branches for these arbors that I'm thinking about. So I've got 1, 2, there should be 3, 4 there. And when the neighbour starts cutting, I want to make sure that he gives me the branches so that I can utilise. And yeah, I've cleared this area a bit. This is another area, so when Cole goes off to see his friend next door, and at night he will go out, he comes back around here and in this way. But I still want to put I was going to put a deadwood hedge here, but the other thing I'm doing is growing plants along here so that we can have a natural, a live hedge. But these are taking their time. There's some smaller ones there, but they'll grow and spread, because these particular plants are generations from this tree. Well, not this particular tree. They all grew from the same seed. When we first came, this wasn't seeding at all. We weren't even getting flowers. And over the years, I guess as it's gotten older, but I got the seeds from down at the front of the road. There's several trees there, and I would just get the berries, dry them out, and sow them, and they would grow. They've grown. So I want to cut back this a little bit to make it a bit lighter. But any plants that I have that love the shade, this is where they're going to go. Like my ferns, I've been trying to get ferns to grow here, but it's been too bright. But now there's a lot more, it's a lot shadier, then this is going to be perfect, like a little woodland area. So I just have to clear it up a bit. So we've made our way back round to the back, and so this is a nice area to sit and look at Cole looking over there, and as you can see, the rain is coming through. But yeah, as I say, I wanted to create different areas. Look at this. I told the spiders it's got a web all the way across. So I've been utilising the tyres. Oops, just getting a branch here. As you can see, they've got stuff growing in them. So that's great. Oh, let me show you what they've got growing in them. I've put, for temporarily, as I say, I don't like throwing seeds away, so they're little papaya plants all growing. I've got some sweet corn going on there. Not sure how many corns I'm going to get from that. Some Pride of Barbados going. So just to keep stuff in there, this is guinnep. I've got some other guinnep plants, so I wasn't too worried about that not growing to its full. Okay, so I'm going to go back round. It's starting to rain again. So I've got my understory space here. I just have to tidy it up a bit. These bags are full of bottles. They you get money back on the plastic bottles. But this is where my fern garden is at the moment, and Cole likes to run in here and chase lizards. So I've allowed it to grow because when I try and move them, I'm not giving them the right conditions. So now where I just showed you where it's a lot shadier, they're going to grow really well there because they've been growing profusely under here. So I need to, what I thought I would do is when that side is ready, I can then, all of these can be moved. And we can, well, we're not ready to start work yet. So it was like, okay, you lot just stay here, and when we're ready for you. Here, I've just cut some bougainvillea. So I found I couldn't cut the bougainvillea and put it straight in the ground, which is what I did when I first had a piece. And so what I've had to do is cut the pieces, cut the branches, and then allow them to root here, undisturbed, I guess, in the shade, and then plant them out because I want more colour out at the front. At the moment, I've got the yellow flowers, I've got the white flowers from the Frangipani, and I want some splashes of red. And now I've got the red, as you can see, the red Mexican sunflower. I want to have some of those colours dotted around a bit more. And then from this particular spot, what I could see, like through the Mexican sunflower hedge, you can see where it needs to be built up a bit, or where there's going to be trees there at the front. So the Mexican sunflower hedge, it's fine that it grows behind, and I have access to the road outside, so I can cut the other side. And just gaps where, okay, I don't want Cole to be running through there, so I need to use some of the wood and build like some mini like trellises that I can put in spots like that. And that's the great thing about being in the garden. There's so much potential, there's so many things that you can do. And it's another rainy day in Barbados, so we're going to go in. And yeah, thank you for joining me and being part of this adventure, and leaving your wonderful comments. It's really encouraging. Sometimes you it's not take for granted, but you don't sit back enough and look at how much you've accomplished, and your comments make me actually realize, oh my gosh, I have grown so much, I have done so much out here in the garden. And every single plant that I can see, bar a few, like okay, that shack tree I didn't plant, but a lot of the all the Mexican sunflower I've put in. And so you think that's like, what, quarter of an acre. I've cut the branches, put them in, and I go round and I cut back every single one by hand. And look at those over there, so they're peeping over the Frangipani tree. But yeah, I really do appreciate your comments, and if you like, you can also join me on Patreon. I use that as my blog. There are some tiers. I have a blog which, if you can just come and have a look. I don't know what you've seen. You might have seen the mongoose. But yeah, there's other tiers, which there are rewards on the different tiers, and you can come and see what's there, or you can just come and see. You know, after I post the videos, I usually, you know, do a bit of writing about what I've been telling you about, and for the patrons, they get an additional information, basically. Look at that. Just as well I'm under the house, but it just looks, I just love it. Look, I just love that look going up there. I left it too late to make a dash, so I think I'm just going to chill here for a bit until it subsides. Oh, look at that. Thank you. But yeah, I just love that look. And maybe even put an arch there. So I'm just looking at places where I can recreate areas to make it, it's a feeling and an experience that you get when you come out here, and that you're then able to reach out and say, oh, let me take a pomegranate. Let me pick a pomegranate. I had a pomegranate yesterday. I can have pomegranates every day. You know, let me pick a mango. Mangoes aren't ready. They're not even, the mango plants are growing. The trees are growing, but they're not ready to fruit. But, oh, let me have a banana when they, and so that's what I want, you know, for there to be a constant source of food out here that you can come and pick from January right down to December. Or herbs, there's always herbs or the leaves that can be used, like this is sage. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And yeah, take care, and you know, continue to stay blessed and be a blessing.